Hey nerds, and welcome back to Inheritors of the Light, which is apparently a series we're still doing. I don't know why. But anyways, a lot of you were asked, hey, what character should we do next to enhance and, look at characters who are lesser used or just kind of get a bad rap as they are. So, let me just open up this envelope, and it is Palla. Really, guys? Palla? That was one of the... Oh boy, okay, well, alright then. This envelope is a lie. It doesn't actually have anything on it. It's just a piece of paper. Yeah, I know. I'm the worst. But still, we're here to talk about Palla, so let's just pull up Palla. Don't ask why I have a Palla that also, that is 1+, but we'll get back to that later. So here we are. Here's Palla. I'm going to let you have her stats up on the left so you can take a look at what she does really well. So I'm going to also suggest some IVs for you for this build. I highly suggest for a boon, you should probably go for speed. And if you don't want to go for anything else, just maybe attack will work too. But highly suggest speed, and if you really want a Bane, because everyone wants a Bane that doesn't really cripple the build too much, you should probably go with HP, because as you can see, she has pretty decent defense and resistance as a unit, which is kind of surprising for her. So let's talk about this in depth, shall we? So, you can keep her ruby weapon. This is something that she has a ruby sword, which means that she has triangle adept built into her weapon, meaning that she will do more damage to a green unit in case you really want a good green checking unit. From there, we're just going to go, of course, Moonbow, which is what everyone knows, and Wings of Mercy, and of course, Spur, and also Goad. Before we begin talking about the build entirely, I will tell you that there's two ways you can go about this. You can build her as her separate own thing, which is always an option, of course, or you can build her around flyers, and since she already has Goad flyers in her, skill pool here, it does mean that if you build a flyer emblem, as they say, you will probably have to, a pretty good time with her. She does really well, especially with the build we're going to give her, because, well, yeah, let's just, talk about that first, okay? So, if you don't want to use the ruby weapon, there's always other options. Kane here has a sword that you might want to look into. That, of course, is the Brave Sword. Brave Sword allows any unit to, when they initiate, attack twice. However, they do deduct speed. But, as I said beforehand, Palla does have some decent speed, and even with the, Brave Sword, she shouldn't be doubled, at least not terribly, especially when we add in her A slot, which I'm sure a lot of people are going to guess what it is, but, it's something that will be pretty common with these units. We talked about it with Adult Tiki because, well, it's an option, but, well, I guess it bears repeating. So, here is, Hinata, or as I like to call him, Weeb. It's an inside joke. Don't ask. Anyways, and of course, he also kind of shares the ruby weapon, but, we should also talk about the fact that he does, in fact, have Fury. And Fury is a great weapon, or great skill, a skill, because it allows certain units to really boost up their stats: attack, speed, defense, and resistance +3. As you can see, with Palla is a good option because not only does it boost her speed, which you might trade off if you decide to go with a brave weapon, but it does allow for more defense and resistance as well as attack, meaning that she will be a bit more tanky, which is always nice to have, especially for a flyer unit who may have to deal with archers. So, outside of that, what should we give him for a B skill? Well, a lot of people go with Swordbreaker, and Swordbreaker, I wonder if I still have it able with me. Don't see him right now. Oh, wait, there we go. Swordbreaker is a good option. It allows him to basically, allows her to subsequently deal with the more common swordsman units that tend to show up in Arena, and that's what I'm imagining you're going after when it comes to Arena. Or at least the skill build is to build a flyer emblem, perhaps, or, go with something that might do pretty well. For special skills, well, I will say that since we're adding Fury to the build, you can always go with the easy-to-use Bonfire. Hey, this is seemingly almost kind of identical to Adult Tiki, huh? That's weird. Might be because Fury is just such a good ability, and of course, as you can see on the side here, yeah, that Bonfire will, with Fury, she will get her defense up to 31, which will do quite substantial damage if you decide to use it, and that's always a nice option. Don't you agree? If you don't agree, I'm sorry to say, but that's just gonna be how it has to go, I guess. But, so, we have B, which would be Swordbreaker. I always like that because I'm assuming you're going to be using it in Arena. And so what would be a good C ability? Well, for someone like Palla, she's a bit more tanky as a flyer, and that means that she can take advantage of a lot more, versatility. And as it often comes, this is going to be an option, so I'm going to give you the option. One, you can give her Goad Flyers, which she already automatically has as a unit, and is something that you will probably want to use, especially if you're going Flyer Emblem. But if you decide to go with something else, here is Parry, and she does have the option of course, Threaten Defense. Threaten Defense is a very nice ability. Parry already has it at 4 stars, not 3 stars, 4 stars. You can also get it from Miklas, but Miklas is a rarer unit, so that's really up to you if you decide to do that. You could also, just not, and, you'll be happier for it. As for Bonfire, I forgot to actually mention that. Well, let's get Bonfire up here. Where is... I don't even know if I have a 4-star Robin. I think we'll have to go down to 3-star and probably pull him up. Yeah, he still exists down here. I'm sure of it. And Bonfire, as we've gone over before, well, it has additional benefits if your defense is higher, and as we've gone over before, Fury will tip her over the top to where she will probably do a lot more with Bonfire than her own built-in Moonbow. So is she better than Moonbow? Well, with this build, she might actually get more use out of something else. And I know there's already going to be a certain meme in the chat, or at least the comment section, so yeah, buckle up, buddy. But let me just be clear here. If you decide to go with the Flyer Emblem team, Palla is a good option because, again, her stats are fairly decent. She has good attack, well, decent attack, decent speed, and decent all-around stats that will allow her to benefit much more readily from goads and fortifies and hones that are based around flying units. That means that she could get up to pretty high levels, at least according to the math that I've seen here. We can always go with, let's just see. Yeah, she could get up to 56 attack and 47 speed if you have 2 Goad Flyers and 1 Hone Flyer. That means and yet she still keeps her bulky defense, which is like 31 and 29 res with Fury attached to it. So that's always a nice option if you decide to do it. Palla is a bit of a difficult unit to build a solitary group around. I mean, well, solitary as in her on her own. But in a Flyer Emblem team, she will excel pretty substantially, and she already has the makings for it. So if you decide to base your team around Flyers, I highly suggest bringing Palla along. Especially with Fury, she will do a lot. And, of course, if you don't want to do that, is she better than, just giving away Moonbow? Well, I think she can be. It's all really up to what you want to do. And what I think, of course, is just attach Fury, give her Swordbreaker, and, maybe threaten defense, and she can run hog wild. She won't, she probably won't excel as a lot of other red sword units, but that's just kind of something you have to deal with. Because, let's be clear here, if you're going up against a Ryoma, you're probably going to be like, oh, well, or you have a Ryoma, you'll probably choose that over using her. But if you decide to make a Flyer Emblem team, or you decide to go with something a little bit more exotic, I don't see a problem with Palla here. And again, before we got, bail out here, here is the build again. You can replace the Ruby Sword with a Brave Sword. And from there, I suggest a special skill of not Moonbow, replace Moonbow, give it Bonfire. And then the reason being is, of course, we're going to give her Fury. Fury is a good option because it allows it to buff all of her stats, especially your defense and resistance, especially if you have the boons and banes of a boon of speed and a bane of HP, and that will boost her further, allowing her to get more advantage out of Bonfire. From there, Swordbreaker allows her to deal with a lot of the more common sword units, and if you ever need to change it out, you can always change it to something else. Any other breaker skill that might be valuable to her, and from there, C is really, that's up to you. As a solitary unit, I suggest Threat and Defense. This will allow her to take advantage more of her damage, and, of course, her Brave Weapon. And also, if you're going flyers, you can always keep Goad Flyers. That's basically all that is, guys. And that's about it for Inheritors of the Light for next time. What are we talking? We're gonna just... Who's next? On my envelope. Envelope. Okay, who wrote Sage is a butt? It's not a valid option. And then right under that it says La La Land. What does that mean? You guys are weird. I'm not a butt. La La Land should have won.